Oh, hello everybody. Veronica Ray. Welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for being here today. So today's quick topic for my gaslighting helpline on Thursday mornings, talking about frenemies. So we have a big problem in the world, and that's lying. So people who lie, who happen to be your friends, are essentially frenemies. Why would they lie? Because they need something from you or from the situation. And it can be tricky when you don't have the balls to straight up ask you to your face, hey, can you be this? Or hey, I need this from you. They don't ask, they just manipulate. So I'm calling them gaslighting frenemies while referring to the fake friend. And I got to tell you, I've got 20 years plus. I don't even know, I have to really think about this, but more than 20 years experience with fake friends. But my situation is incredibly unique. And so I'm kind of reaching out to you guys, allowing you a platform to talk about your experiences with people who you thought were even your best friends, but turned out their intentions were never good to begin with. I personally have had nothing but actors show up in my life periodically over the last 20 years. And that was based on one person that I met online who I never actually met in person. I don't actually know them well at all. They just kept sending me random people online, whether they were clients or people that just found me in random chats. It wasn't ever random. So I have a situation that is, I'm going to have to do a video on it. It's completely different from growing up with a friend or, meeting a friend through a friend. And I feel like the number one place to affirm me is going to be online. Like I said, I have stories, you guys. My stories are unbelievable, movie-esque, right? And pretty epic stories, to be honest with you. And I will put together something that will plainly describe what I've been through over the years. But when you go through fake after fake after fake, you just stop trusting people. You can't even trust the person walking their dog anymore that waves at you. It's really that crazy over here. But what I've gathered from my viewers and clients over the course of my career is that they establish really strong relationships with people. They spend holidays together, their kids grow up together, but the whole time someone was jealous of either their money, their husband or wife, their lifestyle. It's different than having someone jealous of you at work. Most of the time, work relationships that are underdeveloped, so not long-term relationships, anytime you get those jealous people, those won't affect you as much because you don't give a crap, right? We care about the ones that promised to be there, like our ride or dies, but really they never intended on sticking around. So my biggest issue is going to be people who will literally take any form of payment, and I said any form, right? And bail the minute you need something. They're not there. I had a friend, and I had no idea she was truly a friend of me, but I had a friend that was pregnant with me when I was pregnant with Anthony, and she just disappeared. And we were friends for almost 10 years at that point. I'm like, where the hell did she go? And why is she acting like this? So I never got an answer on that. It took me my own common sense and a lot of time, a couple of years later, to actually think about why. And really, it wasn't anything I did. It was that she was not genuine to begin with. So that was let go of. I'm not going to let that affect me. But my big issue is when I see other people go through it, which is why I'm opening up the forum today. I see people go through this and they are more hurt by this than they are some lover, right? So we want to talk about some of the signs that you may get leading up to a discard. So it kind of falls into the narcissistic abuse syndrome that people go through in their love lives. It happens more so with female, unfortunately, I have to say this, happens more so with females than it does with males. Not to say it doesn't happen equally for you, male and female, because everybody's got a different situation, but the frenemy, the jealousy, the outright cattiness, sabotage, I've seen in my career more from women than from men. The jealousy I've seen from men, not necessarily against me, but other people, they're more passive aggressive with their nastiness. And when the aggressive comes out, it's pretty diabolical. Okay. Let me check my chat real quick. So this is going to be a show I do every Thursday morning. And I feel like it's super important based on the comments and the emails that I receive from my viewership. I feel like people need a place to vent. People need a place to go to that doesn't cost them an arm and a leg at the therapy office or a psychic reading. Or, you know, if you can't trust a family or a friend to keep your secrets, we need a place to go to vent, right? Because not many people are going to understand what you're going through unless they've been through it themselves. That is, you know, where people call you crazy, where they'll say, hey, you're doing this to yourself. And it's not always true. So this is already one of those moments where I'm itching and I'm like, we really need to talk about this. So one of the first signs that you're going to see is the disappearing act when someone is in and out of your life and they're supposed to be a platonic friend. It's like, well, why would you be, especially a girlfriend if you're female, why would you be in and out of my life like this? It makes no sense. Like there was no falling out. There was no fight. It's up to you to talk to them and figure out why. But if they don't answer you, that's usually where you're like, hello. That's number one. I've had a few of those happen. And immediately when someone does that, my intuition kicks in and says they're hiding something. Or if they're not hiding something, they don't want it to come out in some way. I'm not talking about their personal life. I mean, something that would probably affect your friendship, right? Or affect what they get from the friendship. They'll just disappear. And this has nothing to do with the blocked or discard video I just did. That's a separate issue. This is the person that will literally come back and forth with you. And they're just a friend, right? It's ghosting, but reappearing. So they're not technically a ghost. They're just like, oh, I'm taking a break without telling you I'm taking a break. But really, I'm trying to cover up my own shit because I don't want you to find out. Because if you find out, you're not going to be my friend. If you're not going to be my friend, I lose something, whatever that something is. Your hookups, that's the number one thing I've noticed with people. If you've got talent or a hookup or money, they want to be a part of that. They want to be in the circle or your inner circle. So if they don't really want to fuck with you, they'll take their break, but then they'll come right back when they need something. So that's number one sign is the disappearing and reappearing act that's never stable. So if it's not stable and you've seen this over a reasonable period of time, which I would say 6 months to a year, usually within 6 to a year, not before 6 months, but 6 to a year, they'll pull their first stunt. Okay. The other thing would be gossip, number two, not just with women, men too, but gossip, number two. So I heard it through the grapevine that. So they'll come to you to talk to you about someone you've never met, never heard of, and they got all kinds of shit to say. Well, everything out of their mouth is a lie because it's not your experience. So if someone came to you and said, Veronica Ray, blah, 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 all of it's a lie, even a positive, because if you haven't met me, you haven't interacted with me, you haven't seen me online, nothing, then everything's a lie until you have an experience. So even if someone gives me a good review, it may not be the same for you. I don't interact the same with everybody, right? So you can't really believe what people say until you have your own experience. And if you don't need to have an experience, they're just venting about their own shit. But when they start slandering, it sounds like they're the jealous one. That should be something that you look at. So here's an example, another personal one. I have a million of them. I had been hanging out with a female friend for a while. We'd hang out after work and go out for drinks and shopping, everything. I met a new person. And the first thing my friend said is, oh, she's a slut. Okay, well, what she does with her genitalia is not my business, not my problem. And what does that have to do with me at all? So she was jealous that I had a new friend and didn't want me to hang out with her. So she was trying to slam her for something that was none of her business. So I knew something was wrong with that. I discarded that friend because I felt like, oh, if she can do something like this to this strange girl that she's never met before, she just heard a rumor, she'll do it to me. And I don't miss her. And she's tried to reach out since then. And this was, of course, 15 years ago, but I ignored it because I felt like, no, you're probably not any different than you were a few minutes ago. You see what I mean? So when you notice that they're slamming other people before you've even met them or had time to get to know them, that shows jealousy. Okay. So a real friend, a real one, will want you to have a full life, but want to be included in that life. And you guys know that you can't always mesh all your friends together. Some people just won't like each other ever. Right. So, you can spend time doing the things you love with one person and then love something else and spend time with these people. It can happen. But when they try and step in the way of that, that they've got issues. So it's not your job to be their mommy. This is a friendship. You're supposed to be standing next to me, not in front of me, not behind me, not hovering over me. No, none of that crap, right? So that's number 2. Another one is blatant lies to your face. Just blatant lies. Like if you start catching them in their stories and they're full of crap, it's like, why are you lying to me? Are you building yourself up? Are you tearing someone else down? Are you trying to make yourself look, poor? Because I've had quite a few people cry about needing money, and I've given them money, and not a lot, not thousands, but like consistently cry about, needing help. And I've given them ways to, help themselves by, giving them advice or I've given them money. And I don't care about the $80 I lost, right? I care about the lie. So I found out there were 2 people. One was actually quite wealthy and she was painting a picture of being poor, broke, that type thing. And on drugs or something, medication for depression, all this stuff. And she painted the family portrait to be quite disgusting. All right. So that was one. I figured that out. And it took a while because she was like a coworker of mine on one of the psychic sites. And that took a while. She did all of the above, the lies, the disappearing act, the whining, crying, woe is me shit. And then I had another one who had a fine job. This was many years later. She's a little bit younger to me, and she was crying about money one time, and I gave her money or something. And then the next thing you know, finding out she didn't need it. But, not a big deal. I look at it like, well, I'm investing in my character when I give people money. But at this point in my life, I'm 41 years old. I really don't have time for BS anymore. So I'm a little more rigid with my boundaries. Like you can draw a box of boundaries, but there's like thorns on every post. Like you don't think about touching this unless you're genuine or else I'm going to stab you, not in real life, energetically, bam, bam, So I want to tell you with those examples, those are the immediate ones that you will see within the first couple of years of interacting with someone. Online is harder to tell. So I've had both in person and online. More in-person friends, I would say anywhere up to the age of 25, most of those people were absolutely genuine. I still have them in my world. They're great. And I'm sticking to them. I'm having a harder time letting new people in because after 25, it got really bad. Like I said, I had someone sending me people constantly. They did it mostly through the psychic sites. And me being the nice person I am, I connect with people. And when I was younger in my 20s, I wasn't necessarily gullible, but I was just kind of like more compassionate than obviously I am now. We all go through that, by the way, men, women, all of us, where we're nicer when we're younger. And then we hit 40 and we're like, fuck you. You are not important. If you don't have a role to play in my life, I'm not fucking with you. And it's okay to do that. You have to do that. We have to start from someplace. And so for whatever reason, this person would send me their little actors. And I'm not kidding. They're actual actor wannabes. I can't believe I have to tell this story. It's crazy. The amount of people that were full of shit was hilarious. And, I only met a couple of them in person. It even got so bad where they were trying to send me guys to fuck. I'm not kidding. And none of them were cute. Awful. Oh, God. Um, horrible. Do your research. Send me someone that's attractive, right? So whoever that person is, I still don't actually know who they are. They're just some person that found me online. I went through many years of them sending me fake people. It's like I was some sort of guinea pig for, the Actors Guild or something. It was really, really, really crazy. Anyway, at some point, you find the pattern in someone's behavior and you have to make a decision. Should I stick with this person? Do they mean that much to me? Do I work on the situation or not? It's really that simple, Oh God, you have no idea. With what I do for a living, it's a lot of weirdos. But because I'm a normal human, I cannot judge every person based on one crazy, you just can't. And unfortunately, when you engage with people online, especially back 20 years ago, there was no webcams back then. This was not happening. So, and I figured out more of what was going on. I mean, I have a lot of information I'm not sharing, and I'm acting like I don't know all the key players. I do actually, but I don't really want people to know who they are. So I just don't understand why the hell they're attached to me. They picked the wrong person. Because you get to a point where you just don't care. I'm not going to have any empathy for these people. But moving forward for me, I have a list of standards, and those are going to be automatic, non-negotiable. I'm not going to talk about it. I have my standards. Everybody does. What constitutes a real friend for you and for me might be a little different. But to be honest with you, there's only one word that matters, and that's loyalty. Loyalty. It means that you're not going to cut down your friend. You're not going to use your friend. You will properly reciprocate advice, or times when you have to lean on each other. It will be pretty equal depending on what year it is, who's going through what. I mean, people go through a lot of shit. There's deaths, there's births. Sometimes it's just a bad year, right? Like this year, a bad year for a lot of people. Loyalty is not difficult. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. They're going to come out of this video and go, what is she expects everybody to be loyal? Yeah, I do. Don't attach yourself to me if you have no intention of being loyal. If you lie to me even once, there's no point. You know how many billions of people there are in the world that I have not met? Same goes for everybody else. We don't need that one person. So when we talk about the frenemy situation, sometimes it's intentional, where they absolutely never had any reason other than, shallow, superficial, monetary reasons to be your friend. And then others, it just happens that way, where they go through something in their life and they're affected in a negative way. They may lose their shit. They may snap up here. That's happened to a couple of my friends, and they weren't real frenemies. They were just, we can't interact anymore because they're in a totally different headspace, and I can't mesh, right? So I've had friends that have gone through a lot of trauma, and there's only 3 of them, okay? I still care about them, but we cannot interact. So that's not the same. That's a totally different situation. We're talking about people who literally have no business being in your space. So let me check my chat real quick. It is abusive. And I shouldn't say that word on YouTube, but whatever, demonetize me, I don't give a fuck. It is. And that will hurt you more. Men, women, doesn't matter. But that, losing a friend or finding out that they weren't really a friend, wasting your time on that person, that hurts more than losing a lover who, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. It is weird timing, isn't it? I just had things just pop into my head. Talk about this, talk about that, and we're going to do it every week. Yeah. There are misunderstandings, and that's just a communication thing. And usually those situations will get fixed automatically if 2 people care about each other for real and you just had a tiff. that shit will get fixed. But when you find out they're not loyal to you, they'll talk about you behind your back, all these things, bye. And that is the answer to everything for me. Not sure if it's because I'm an air sign or what. I know that there's other people in the world that aren't as harsh as I am, but keep in mind, I have over 20 years of being stabbed in the back to fall on, and I don't want to fall back on the sword for anything or anyone. It's not worth it to me. Now, for you, it's different, The other thing is what I do for a living. That is, for me, the number one thing people attach themselves to me for, because they see it as special or whatever. And I think everybody has their own special gifts. So that's why anybody can get used for anything at any time, right? I'm not any more special than the guy that works at the hardware store. He may have a special gift. I know I damn well can't do anything for that. I mean, there's certain things that people do and people rely on. So like the handyman, for example, that's why I said that. I had that in my head, the handyman. People will use the handyman, pretend they like them, kiss their butt a lot just so that they can get some shit fixed in their house. It's really bad, Anybody can get hit with this, Yes, tarot tales, absolutely. Totally agree with you. So anybody can be a victim to this kind of stuff. I mean, doesn't matter. So you just need to know what to look for. And, inconsistency really with that friendship. I mean, come on, really? How hard is it to be a good friend? It's different if you live in another state, but if we're talking someone that is in your area that you spent your life with, your time with, nothing really happened, and they're very inconsistent, they seem a little shallow, that kind of thing. I mean, it's pretty simple, straight up. So those are the main examples I have to catch it pretty quickly. I don't feel it's healthy to purposely be on guard with every person you meet. I feel like we should always be open to new people because they may surprise you. And it only takes one person to be good to you, to be loyal to you, to make you fulfilled. You don't need a whole squad, 10 or more people or 3 or more people. You don't need a squad. You need one fucking good friend. And that is the one thing my mother always said to me. She says, you would be incredibly blessed and lucky to have 1 or 2 true friends in your lifetime. She said this to me when she was my age. That was a long time ago, 30 years ago. So I held on to that, and damn if she wasn't fucking right, which is like, oh God, Mom, I got to tell her she was right. You know what I mean? But it's true. So the standards we have in today's society, especially with Instagram and Facebook, everybody likes the numbers. The higher the numbers, the better they feel. But the fact is most of that shit is high school friends, friends of friends. My sister's funny about Facebook. She goes to a party, at her sister-in-law's house, meets a new person, boom, Facebook friend. It's just how they feel. They feel more important. They feel better. She keeps track of people that way. I get it. But you don't need to have a high number. Actually, less is usually more anyway. Same thing with your sex life. We don't need to have a high number to be awesome. I have a very low number. So I have a lot of low numbers, and that's okay. Quantity or quality over quantity. God, I can't speak. You see what I mean? A lot of people say that, Kate. I mean, really. And then in-laws and stuff. So let's talk about that real quick. The one thing I've learned throughout this process of frenemies, and I'll get into kind of the harsh side of frenemies in a minute, but that includes in-laws. It includes people who are technically on the outside, not on the inside, people who may have opinions that affect your relationships that shouldn't have an opinion. That includes my own family, right? But we expect loyalty from those people too. We all know it. In-laws, cousins, you name it. I've learned to stop doing that because the fact is blood is thicker than water for most people, not all, depending on your situation. For me, I'm not like that. I care about how I'm treated versus blood, right? And a lot of you know my situation with my father growing up. I won't get into that today. I know in-laws are a totally separate video, but but I'm just going to touch on it in terms of loyalty. Do not expect in-laws, cousins, their family, especially, if you're married, right? Don't expect them to be loyal to you at all. They won't be. In the end, if you are faced with divorce or severing of ties, they will not be loyal to you. It's been proven time and time again. Once in a while, you'll get astray, and then that still causes a rift, right? I remember my father told all of my mom and dad's mutual friends that they were not allowed to talk to my mom. He made them choose, and they chose her. And then she ended up losing touch with them because she was no longer married. So it didn't matter anyway. But, that kind of jealousy, that kind of stuff that separates you and your bonds with other people, that's probably not the best situation. Now, my sister is really funny about divorce because our parents' divorce affected her way differently than me. When her brother-in-laws divorced their wives, she kept them along and treated them like family, and that's fine. They're still very comfortable coming over to birthday parties, this, that, and the other, because the men aren't showing up, you see. So she tends to keep everybody as family, even if they're not family or their ex-family. She'll just keep them all there. And that's her business. That's the way she rolls. I'm not like that. I'm a prove it or fuck off, that type person. And it makes me more difficult to deal with because, yes, I said it. I have high standards now. My sisters are very, very low. We're total opposite that way. It's interesting. She's a Libra. I'm an Aquarius. Go figure. So please let us know whether you're in the chat or you come later. Leave a comment. Let me know your worst scenario you've been through with a friend. So speaking of which, the daggers, right? When you find out your best friend has betrayed you in whatever way that hurt you the most, right? I'm not saying they slept with your man or something. I'm saying they could have betrayed you in a way that you can't go back. You got to look at the history when that happened. So a lot of people don't understand, why did they ghost or why did they do this or that? You got to look back at the history. We've always been shown signs. People slip. Some people are experts at the whole lying, cheating, stealing, facade. They're like a mannequin at a store. They never waver. They never move. But most people aren't. Most people's lies catch up with them and they forget what they've said and they slip. So go back to the history, right? Go back to the history and figure out what steps did you miss or what signs did you miss? I don't know why I said steps. Anyway, it's like take a step back and go look at it. But there was always something, always crazy. Even now that I'm talking about it with you guys, I've been gaslighted time and time again by friends. So that's the main focus of Thursdays is gaslighting. So I really should call this Gaslighting Frenemies, because a lie is a lie, right? But to try and make you think something's true when it's not, whether they're saying this about your life, trying to make you crazy, or they're trying to gaslight you regarding another person because they're jealous, or they're trying to deter you from doing your job, or they're doing something that just isn't normal. Like, what happened? For the last 5 years, you were one way, all of a sudden you're a different way, right? Two-Faced Thursday. That's a good title, actually. I literally had someone come into my life a few years ago and get to the people that were in my life personally, that were in my life, and they actually did what they were told by these people. I don't know if they were paid or not. My ex-best friend threw money in my face. Oh, money's been perfect. I'm like, oh my God, you got paid to betray me and you did it, you asshole. Her name is Nikki. What a bitch, She's out of my life for good. And couldn't believe it. I mean, it's shocking how people will take money. Like I said, they'll take any kind of payment to get what they want. I'm not hurt, but it was like unreal. I'm more shocked because there was like a light switch went off in this chick and she turned into a different person. I'm like, and I'm talking like over 10 years of friendship. Blew my mind. And then I found out what she was doing. Unbelievable, you know? What a cunt. Anyway, yeah, I've got many stories just like that because they were all in the same group of people. So keep in mind that it's not a big deal now. It's not like, in my opinion, and I think you guys can hold on to this if you're going through this, I've never lost a real friend ever. Never. If you're a friend and you're out of my life, you weren't my friend. You see what I'm saying? So I never lost anything. So this person that keeps popping into my life, trying to control everybody in it, trying to get them to run away from me, they're choosing to run. You can offer someone anything and they don't have to take it. But if these fuckers are taking it, if they're being threatened, whatever, I don't care what it is, you're still not loyal to me. You're just not, That's just how it is. I'm reading the chat. And the funniest part about my whole story is that I've never met this person who keeps infiltrating my life. I've never met them before. I have no interest in them. They're whoever they are. I know who they are, but whoever, they're a lunatic, like straight up delusional about me. There's no connection. So I don't know why they who would pay this guy, this person, this lunatic. That's how bad it is. No shot in hell. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care what they look like. No shot in hell. So I don't know why they've attached themselves to me. It's like, it is insane. It literally is what I'm going through. And it's like, okay, well, go then. Let everybody go. Well, these people would take the money because they have taken the money. They're literally told what to say to me. It's really just creepy. So, and it's funny because when you're sent people to interact with, this is not like a referral to get a psychic reading, okay? This is far, far worse than anything. It's just quite frankly interference, but they take up my time and space, so it's harder to meet real people. Does that make sense? So you get attached to someone, you think they're your friend, and you're spending all this time with them, but you should be out there meeting new people. That's what happened. So obviously now that all of it's gone, it's almost all gone. I think there's like one little thing left I have to deal with, but since they're all gone, I have nothing else to lose at all. And that's the whole thing about gaslighting. Gaslighting comes in many forms, and we're going to really delve into this gaslighting thing every Thursday. I'm not kidding. There's so many different things going on in many ways to gaslight someone. Most of the gaslighting is done in such a subtle manner that even I've missed it. It comes out later, but it's that is the number one form of abuse, I feel. This is my opinion. It may not be fact, I don't know. But I feel like because of everybody I've interacted with, that's the number one way that people get away with abusing other people. Friends, family members are pretty bad, I've noticed, okay? So let me read this comment. The hard way is not to be personal or make friends in the workplace. I got you. I was gaslighted and burned so bad by a coworker I trusted and thought was a friend. Absolutely. And it's really hard because not every coworker is going to be like that. But once it happens to you, you are totally stung, shell-shocked. Why would you ever go back and do that ever again? Especially if it's a competitive field or you're both up for a promotion or, people are ass licking the boss. You know what I mean? Debbie Light, absolutely. So I am not a therapist, although I'm used as a therapist a lot with the friends, but people still have a right to have a group that they can go to and talk about their issues. I'm going to consistently expose everything that's been going on since I was 20 years old. This whole thing started when I was that young. And I think the most unbelievable part of this is that it's just not gone. I'm like, why? Why can't I get rid of these fuckers? Just like, why? I look at myself as just a normal person. I'm not a beauty queen by any stretch. I'm not a perfect person either. I'm just like everybody else. I am. Like I said, everybody has their own special talents and gifts. I do see people as created equal. Everybody has abilities, but not everybody is going to reach, certain tiers in terms of, I guess, class. And I don't give a shit about that. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, I tend to shy away from the upper class people because those are the ones that steal, lie, cheat the most in terms of my life. I've never met a poor person that, wasn't motivated or whatever, but I've seen the laziest rich motherfuckers ever. I mean, lazy as shit. You know what I'm saying? And not to say poor people are all motivated and perfect. No, I'm just saying in terms of what I've been through, 2 different classes, I'm going down here because that's where I'm at. And it doesn't mean I'm less than or you're less than. It means that we're a different, it's almost like it should be opposite, I want to be with people who want to work, who want to be honest, who want to be loyal, who have goals and dreams and are always trying to reach for them. I mean, I have a long list of things that I like, but I've had people fake that shit. Well, if you're, silver spoon kid, be honest about that. Don't try and pretend you're just like me. When I find out you're not, I'm going to be pissed, I'm not going to judge you for being rich. I'm going to judge you for being a liar. You see what I mean? And, someone mentioned healing. This is a constant because I've been going through this for over 20 years. It's a constant healing. It never ends. And it's like until you can pull the root out of that weed, it's going to keep coming back. And I cannot pull the root out of this motherfucker. I just can't. It's like they're invisible or something, like a fucking ghost. I have a very unique situation though, a very unique situation. And if I could go back in time and wish I hadn't gone into a certain chat room, I absolutely would have avoided that. There's like one person, had I never interacted with that person, none of this would have happened. That's kind of crazy. And you know what it comes back to? And I know a lot of you are going to say the same thing. If I wasn't so nice, because bitches never get nailed. Maybe in the end they get nailed, but generally nobody fucks with them. They only fuck with the nice people, the empaths, I swear to God. Kate, you're absolutely 110% correct. That is why when you guys watch those narcissistic videos or read the books, they talk about the empath a lot. It's not that we're stupid or that we can't see through some shit. It's just that empathetic side takes over. Like being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes is an amazing quality, but that's why you get leached upon, because people like that. That is the light. That is what we talk about, light versus darkness. The light always gets more attention. And then the people that are living in the holes or the shells or whatever, they want the light. They are attracted to the opposite. You see what I mean? And whether they know it or not, because some people are just, they don't know what they're doing. I got to be honest. There are some people that just don't know. And that's what makes it hard to disassociate yourself with someone who just did not know any better. But the ones that do, they know what the light is. They know that they can attach themselves and just suck the life out of that person and not give a shit, So that is what has transpired in my world. And that's why I'm like, no, that's it. And I don't care, whatever the situation is, if it makes me uncomfortable, it's a no. You see what I mean? So I'll get flack for this, for suggesting that people put their walls up high. Keep the windows open, please, because you don't want to miss a good opportunity with a good person. But remember, we are not sent an abundance of good people that work for us because we're not going to learn shit from them. The way the universe works is you get a select few, right? That's really what it is. And it has nothing to do with you or your personality. And I'm talking to the people who are true victims. And no, we don't want to continue to be a victim. This is why we're having these discussions. Like, please leave a comment about your signs, things that have happened to you. And you look back and you're like, oh, that's what they did. I should have known better, because everybody's got a different situation. Mine is, like I said, so unique. It's unreal and unbelievable that this could happen to me, of all people. You know, cord breaking, cord cutting doesn't work for this motherfucker. I've done it all. It doesn't work. It's free will. You can't overpower free will. When someone isn't probably clinically insane, and then it turns into a group of people, that is what I'm dealing with. Now I've got a group of narcissists and people that they don't know anything but what they're told, you see? And I find it so bizarre, and it is evil. It is evil, Terry. I find it so bizarre that so many people blindly follow assholes. Like, going back to the gossipy person, oh, so-and-so, Veronica Ray is a slut. Veronica Ray is this. Veronica Ray stole my husband. I didn't do any of that shit, honey. You know, I get all these accusations. None of it's true. No, what I did was I rejected somebody. I rejected them nicely and not even to their face. And it wasn't a ghosting. It was nothing bad. It was a rejection. And some people don't like that, and they want revenge. And that's what I'm going through, is like a game of revenge. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't playing, but okay. A lot of you guys are going through that. You just don't know it. People don't deal with rejection well. I've been rejected since I was a kid. I've been through a lot of shit, so it doesn't bother me. You're just a person. My dad, you're just a person. He's dead now, but you know what I mean. So, just saying. Oh my God. I hadn't even seen that motherfucker's face, talk to him, let alone his dick. I don't know where they come up with this stuff. It's just hilarious, you know. Listen, the biggest thing that I've come out of this with is, don't change who you are just because there's a squad of dirt bags out in the world. There's more dirt bags than not. And it's funny, even they change, even when they get what they deserve. And maybe, you know, you existing in their world may be what they deserve, the kick in the pants, because we don't know their history. You know, oh, look, Ms. Glitch is back. Wonderful. We don't know their history and why you affected them the way you did. Who knows if you were their karma or not? We don't know that. But I came out of this like, well, I'm a nice empath, and I'm not going to stop being nice to people just because. I get told constantly from people to stop being so nice. But you know what? To a degree, sure. You know, I do everything by case basis. But again, like I said, I will regret it if I miss a good opportunity with a good human, a good collab, you know? Oh, I heard this the other day, you'd make more money if you would stop helping people out so much. In my line of work, I'm either slammed because I charge for what I do, or I'm slammed because I don't charge when I do certain things. Like, I'm very balanced with my work. I give when I feel like I should give, and I charge when I should charge, you know, and it is my choice, like it is yours. So these are things that you're told, where people are like, well, he's stupid. You get taken advantage of because you don't charge for every little thing you do. And then I get told I take advantage of other people when I do charge. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's just opinion, right? Can't win. But the fact is you have to honor your own feelings. So if you feel like charging everybody for your time, effort all the time, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to judge you for that. You know, everybody's line of work is different. Everybody, what they do in their off time is different. If you want to help people, help people. If you don't, you don't. You see what I mean? So don't change who you are ever for any reason. Or don't let, someone else's opinion of you create a new you. You see what I mean? Like the biggest, greatest form of gaslighting is for someone to have the power to make you change what you think your own reality is. That is the point in gaslighting, because if they can make you the crazy one, it takes the heat off of them and their wrongdoing. You see what I mean? Gaslighting should be a crime. I really feel like in terms of divorce, especially partners, spouses, whatever, they gaslight the fucking shit out of people just so that they can get, a leg up. And I feel like that should be an abusive crime. It is a form of mental abuse. Everybody knows it. And I feel like it needs to be treated like an illness. It's that bad. People really fall into that and it changes their whole world, because gaslighting can lead to actual mental disorders. And there are many disorders of hallucinations and stuff like that happens because someone had enough influence over another. Usually a partner, spouse, or a parent has the most influence. You're not alone. Yep, I hear ya. Karen Wise, absolutely. I'm telling you, there's just so much. PTSD also is another thing that branches out into many different forms, and it's psychologically damaging to someone for life. And I feel like having these conversations and exposing this may not even be enough, but it's helpful. It's really weird because narcissism and gaslighting's been around forever. But we're finally talking about it. You're going to find a ton of channels on YouTube, which are all demonetized, by the way, because we're not allowed to talk about mental illness. But then YouTube will make a statement about mental illness while we're going through the coronavirus quarantines and stuff. So it's very hypocritical. But I'm going to get nailed with demonetization if I talk about abuse, narcissism, PTSD, anything. It doesn't matter if I'm a licensed therapist or not. Certain people are allowed to talk about it on here. I'm not one of them, But it has to be talked about. People need to expose what they've been through. They need to talk to other people in the chat while I'm explaining things. It has to happen. Everything is about, and I feel like social media platforms, including the one I'm on right now, which I'm also very grateful for, is nothing but a big gaslighting pile of shit. Media is manipulated. People get lied to constantly. Fact checking is very difficult these days because where do you fact check? Online, at the library, whatever. It's all opinion. It's all what people are manipulating in their videos. This is why live video is the best thing for a lot of people on here. I can edit it later because YouTube now has an editing platform here, but I don't. I just let it flow, Ooh. That's the thing about people who are honing in on their psychic abilities. I will say this. When you're coming to psychics, tarot card readers online, you're seeking for yourself, right? It's not just about hearing something superficial to brighten your day, right? It's not. But it's about finding yourself spiritually so that you can become stronger and more yourself. Remember, we're not here to change you. Well, at least I'm not. I don't know about other self-help people. I think most self-help people are about change who you are. I'm not. I am the opposite. I'm like, fuck all those people that want you to change who you are. Just because they say you should drink this smoothie or be on this diet doesn't mean you should. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's mindset is different. Their past is different. No one has the same life. You just don't, I mean it. So, frenemies. I'm going to end our chat pretty soon. Frenemies, people who go after you behind your back, people who pretend to be your friend because they want something you have to offer. And remember, that's the beauty of it. You have something to offer, and they're lazy straight up if they're just attached to you because of what you have to offer them. They're just fucking lazy. It's kind of like the whole psychic thing on psychic tarot card readers on YouTube. They're, the owners of these multi-level marketing pyramid schemes that are going on there. They attach themselves to me and a couple other readers. They siphon out all our readings and they step in the way so that we can't get exposed on YouTube, so that everybody thinks it's their information. It's crazy. I've slapped so many copyright infringements on these major ones, and then they retaliate, and it's crazy. I mean, it's nothing but sabotage. And I feel like what happened to me, just so you guys know about this, I'm going to expose this one as fun. I had clients years and years ago come to me pretending to be my friend and asking all kinds of questions about my business. And that's what happened. They ended up on YouTube and starting a psychic ring, and they continually steal from me and make fun of me, mock me, and do all this stuff. And they have someone that actually works at YouTube, and they've pretty much thrown it in my face that they control my numbers, they control my exposure. It's fucked. And it's not just me, it's other people. Other people have left the platform out of fear. I've been through so much, you know, and it's disgusting and they're horrible. And what does that mean for them? After all the years that they got the information out of me, they still have to steal content. They still have to provoke drama or try to in my life to get content. They can't come up with their own. I don't know. I don't understand. If you're going to run a psychic ring, just hire some psychics. But they can't, because you know what I mean? I'm just saying, oh no, Ella, I know where I'm supposed to be and I know where they're not. So to me, it doesn't matter. It's a number. I know my value. But it's really funny because the more people steal, the bigger the ego gets, and I'm trying to keep it down. But it's annoying because I'm like, dude, I like competition. Shouldn't you? Like, think about your jobs, right? Who was it? I'm so sorry, I forgot. Someone said that they were gaslighted by a coworker. I read your comment and totally forgot who you were. It's the same thing. It is. It's the same thing. So we went through the same thing, but in different fields, if that makes sense. They pretended to be my friend and got as much information out of me as they could. But then the business still isn't legit. Like, you could have just done that on your own. You didn't need me for it. That's how I feel anyway. It's not, and the readers aren't the ones taking the readings. It's their bosses telling them what to say. Does that make sense? They probably don't even know who I am. But I'm actually, we call it shadow blocked. So me and a few others are shadow blocked on here, meaning that we get exposed only to a select group of people and not everybody. So what happened to me was when I started, I blew up and they didn't like that. Plus, they can't steal from someone that's being exposed a lot because, well, it'll be obvious. So that's what happened to me. And they don't, and there's no support at YouTube because they got people at YouTube. It's that disgusting. Hackers, stuff like that, you know? And it's not just me, like I said, everybody goes through this at every company. There's always someone that is doing exactly what I just said. And there's a ton of victims. It's never just one person, but it's usually only one or two people that have balls to stand up and say it and expose it. You know, you have to. So big corporations, they do this all the time. And this is the thing about, you know, being gaslighted by big corporations. It's like, you cannot give them your ideas or they own you. So don't. You see what I mean? Like, if you have a great idea, you can't trust that they wouldn't take it. And plus, if you're under contract, anything you say or do is their property. So the same thing goes with frenemies, right? Anything you say or do becomes their property because you told them. You see what I mean? We're not going to sign contracts with everybody that wants to be our friend. So blocking people out, man, I mean, someone just posted on my block video here, why do that? You know, that's just so dumb. Just ignore them. Well, my people don't take ignoring well. They just don't shut up. So that's why I block. So I don't have to keep seeing it over and over again, you know. If people would catch a hint and disappear, that'd be great, but they don't, you know. If there's any chance, this is why we promote blocking. If there's any chance that there's a loophole for them to come back and ruin your life, they need to be gone. It's your responsibility to make sure, because you can't be a victim if you leave the door open. You see what I mean? So frenemies, That is probably the number one thing we all go through, that we all have in common with gaslighting. Some people believe that they've never been gaslighted, but wake up call here. Hello. Yes, you have. Yeah, you have. You just didn't know that's what it was. I'm just saying. We are all in the same boat. And some people turn evil because of it, and I'm begging you guys, don't turn evil. You can get bitchy. That's cool. Men too. Men get screwed over too by other dudes, by chicks. And it doesn't matter. I'm missing stuff. It's not they don't have life, it's they don't have grip, like you said. Hurt people. And then the people who are nice about shit get hurt too. It's really a sad world, If our standards weren't so high, our standard of living and comparing ourselves to other people, if that wasn't out there on social media, it wouldn't be so bad. If people would be happy with their own gifts and the path and making their own choices and not compare themselves, life would be different, but it's not the way it's going to work. It just doesn't. So we're here to talk about navigating around the shit. We can't stop it. We can't change it. This is the way it's always been, kind of like Hollywood, how they take from the poor. They get all their ideas from the people and don't give them credit for it and make actors into stars. They make these things and steal from other people. That is how that works. It's always been that way. Nothing's changing. And I'm just one of the people that gets nailed for it. And there's a lot. It's terrible. Everybody has a mountain to climb anyway. Why add to it is what I'm saying. Why make it harder? Karma is real too. Everybody, and we can't always prove karma. So I don't want you guys leaving today thinking, okay, well, they're going to get their karma. You don't think like that either. That's their problem, not your business. Think like, I'm going to get my good karma. Damn it. That is what you need to focus on. It will happen for you. It will. This is not the end of the road because people look at you like you're easy. You see what I mean? I've had people actually tell me, oh, you're so easy. No, I'm not. I'm just nice, Don't verbalize anything. Don't put it in writing. I put lies in writing. I do, because it's no one's business what I'm going to do before I do it, Lightning, I just said the same thing. Absolutely. But, I think it's different because we all feel like we want to be loved. We want to have a close circle of friends, family, and romantic love, however you want that to be, right? It doesn't, but that's what makes some people susceptible to the narcissism and to the abuse, into the gaslighting, because they want that so bad. And they want to believe the person that says, I love you. They want to believe the person that is married to them because they want to believe that it's real. They want to believe the boss that gave them the promotion. They want to believe the friend that's there, and that's the way it is. AB, you're so funny. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to ask again, leave your comments after this video is posted so that everybody else can see it. What are your signs? What did you miss with the frenemy? We're sticking to frenemy, hopefully. It's easy to go off onto a tangent talking about this, but we have many Thursdays ahead of us. So today is frenemy day. Give your examples, give your advice, because everybody, it's not just me. Everybody else could use it. I could probably use a little bit of advice too. Why not? You know what I mean? Especially the part about when you lose your friends, when you lose the people you thought were your friends, how do you start over? Which I should do a video on, but leave your comments, help people out. Thank you for showing up. If you guys are interested in this series, please give me a like and definitely leave your comments. Okay. I need to know the feedback. If it's helpful to you, if it's not helpful to you, it's not about how we look to other people. This series is about venting, releasing, getting rid of the toxins that we're holding on to while going through this. And it is strictly about gaslighting on Thursdays. Okay. All right. Thank you guys again. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.